What's up? Nutcrackers, although they're a very painful sounding toy, have become a popular Christmas time decoration. Now, maybe you have one that the cat has knocked over and broke off an arm, or maybe you have one of these blank ones and you don't know what to do with it. So I'm going to try and give you some ideas to get those creative juices flowing to create not your typical Christmas army of toy soldiers. Let's do it.
Items needed for this build: a toy soldier, air dry modeling clay, wood skewers, a hot glue gun, and optional colored glue, a saw, a drill, paints, and craft fluff.
So since this guy isn't going to be cracking any nuts anytime soon because you'll probably break him even more, I think we're going to have to zombify him. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut this little basket off of his head, because who carries freaking baskets on their head? I don't even think a drummer carries baskets on his head. If he does, if he can drum and keep a basket on his head, he's very talented. But this guy, his basket's gotta go. Holy crap! Now my head's gonna get cold. Ah! Now, if you're fixing an old one that's already painted, you can easily just sand the paint off and paint with a white base and then continue on. Oh, I'm going to get some of the air dry clay. Now, the reason I got the air dry clay is because the other kind you actually have to bake in the oven. And if you put baking clay on a wood soldier, you put it in the oven, wood, oven, just don't do it. After you're done using the clay, make sure you put it in a sealable bag, otherwise it will dry up. Now, I'm going to start off with his head. And what we're going to do is, basically I want it to look like the top of his head's kind of just blown off. I'm going to start off by blending all this in so we don't have this squared off edge anymore. We're just going to make it look, like one continuous head here. Just, or pieces of the head is what it will end up being. So if you've got a squared off edge, grab more clay, pile it on, blend it in, blend it down if you have to. Smooth it out. Just going to start kind of curling this over like it kind of bursts. Like he's got a little flower coming out of his head. I'm going to keep working it so that it sticks to the wood, and it doesn't have to be smooth because it's going to be a zombie anyways, so we'll give him just some nasty rough skin. I'm going to start layering it on the inside here a little bit. I make some parts folded over so much that they're hanging over on his head here. Maybe sticking out, being kind of wild. Eventually we're going to take the skewer and make sure it is all pushed together like one big happy piece of clay. Also, if you can see up in here, we can really give it some texture and depth in there, because that's always a favorite thing around here. I went back around to the front and scraped off where I'm going to end up painting his eyes, but everything around his eyes is still here and still getting shaped and formed. But I'm just going to paint eyeballs on here, so I don't need clay right there. Although I could do eyelids if I wanted to, give it a little bit of texture. Now I think I need a nice little brain to go right on top here. I got the brains, you got the looks.
information, I have got the crime. There's a lot of opportunities if you know where to take them, you know. There's a lot of opportunities if you
Munch it down in there a little bit. And yes, the top of his head is gone. But maybe that's because he ate somebody else's brain and it went up to his head. I don't know. Just go with me here.
let's make lots of money. You've got the brawn, I've got the brains. Let's make lots of money. I've got the brains, you've got the looks. Let's make lots of money. Money.
I'm going to go back in to a few of these little more wide open spots, and I'm just going to put little clay pieces of stuff throughout there. A light misting of water kind of connect it all together. Now maybe this zombie isn't so much into brains. Everybody likes what everybody likes. So maybe this guy's more into like eyeball soup. So I'm going to take the very tip of the skewer, the sharp end, glue. We'll give him some eyeball soup. Sandpaper. If you can see that, it's nice and smooth. Now this guy happened to come with eyeballs already out the end of his sticks. At least that's what I see. And I'm going to take the tip of the skewer and I'm going to glue it on the other end of the eyeball here so it looks like he's just skewed an eyeball for dinner. So I'm going to use hot glue to glue the ends of these skewers onto the pre-made eyeballs that are already on this drummer. Also, take out this clear one. Jeez. I have red glue, just for some fun added effects. There we go. Now we got some red glue. Try not to burn ourselves, but that's never a promise. You get some of these little glue strings. That doesn't really matter because it just adds to it. Now his pre-made soup bowl also needs a little bit of red decor. And we're going to get some more eyeballs and stick them up in here as well. We'll go ahead and just add to it a little. This red glue is awesome. If you can't find it in a craft store, you could find it on Amazon. It's a lot of fun. Now back to the modeling clay, we need some bowl toppers. So let's make some more eyeballs or whatever else might be in eyeball soup. I'm going to layer it and have these stick with the red glue. And just because he's a sloppy eater, he dropped one. So when I first started this guy, I was thinking maybe I was going to paint his eyes on. But now, I think I might drill him out. Gonna make it look like he skewered his own eyeballs. I mean, he's a zombie, he's not smart. He has a brain, obviously, but it might not be his. So I started off by lightly drilling where I think his eyeballs should be. They look like they're fair enough apart. I think we'll drill right there. You're a jerk! So with the modeling clay, I think I'm going to add a little extra texture around the bursted eyeballs. I think he needs more red glue in the eyeballs. I actually took one of the skewers and kind of went inside the eye hole and just messed up the clay and the glue all together. And that's a serious mess inside those eye holes now. It's pretty cool. Crazy thing about hot glue is it cools off extremely quickly and dries really fast. So all the glue is actually dry. Now all I need to do is wait for the air dry clay to air dry. Before I paint him, I think I'm actually going to take my saw and take a bite mark right out of his arm here. Like, that's how he turned into a zombie. He got bit. I want it to look like this. So actually, the drill is probably going to look a lot better. I'm going to take a pencil and I'm actually going to mark, it looks like the teeth that would actually bite in are the front 5 and the bottom 5. So I'm going to make 5 little marks in a half circle. 1. Teeny tiny little guy. The teeth marks do not have to be deep, but they're deep enough to cause a zombie infection. The paint is really going to make this look sore. I let the clay dry overnight. It's got a white look to it. It doesn't look wet anymore. It's hardened up enough to the point to where now I can paint it and it's not going to fall apart on me. Zombies and toy soldiers or nutcrackers is that there are infinite possibilities on what you can do to these things. You can build an entire army of these guys and none of them are going to be the same. Their clothes will all be different, their injuries are all going to be different. On this one, I chose to paint his wound on his chest here and have his ribs showing, but you could also take a drill and drill out a spot there and then take the modeling clay and build some intestines and have them hanging out. I mean, there's so much you could do to these guys. This one in particular, I am going to do one final little adjustment. Now I've got this craft puff, and I'm going to give this guy some wild hair and a little beard. We'll put some blood stains in his hair, and then I think we'll have ourselves an eyeball-eating zombie. Using the hot glue gun, I have changed the glue back from the red to the clear. We're just going to put a little bit down on his chin. Just push that down through there. He's got a little fuzz, chin fuzz there. I'll trim up this other side here to make it a little more even, because it's real thin on this side, real thick on that side, so easy enough to trim. I decided beforehand about how long I wanted his hair, or what's left of the hair that'll be put on him. And we just want it kind of wild and crazy. You can have some, well, falling out, because that's what happens, but some pieces longer, some pieces shorter. See, I left a little chunk just kind of missing there, like that whole part of the hair just fell out. I'm actually layering it a little bit, going up higher with some smaller pieces. Just gives him almost a mad scientist kind of look. I think we need a little bit more fluffing off the side over here. That hair is almost sticking straight out. This hair is sticking straight down, so it's going to give him a very wild look. We'll get that all the way around again. Definitely looks like he's had a rough day. One last step. I'm going to take a little bit of red spray paint, just kind of spritz it in his hair in a couple spots on his mustache and beard like he's bit into somebody. If you don't have red spray paint, red acrylic paint works good too, and it actually gives it a little bit more of a 3D look for the blood that might have beat it up on the beard. Let's really get it kind of thick around his mouth. He's a bit of a sloppy eater. Now we've got our completed zombie nutcracker, and you can create a whole army of these guys, but I suppose they are no longer in the army or the guard. They are now a horde, right? Be sure to check out some of my other videos for some fun and creepy builds. Till then, have a scary Christmas, my crazy friends.